Okay, excellent. I am excited for the future of Foxhole. I've been playing this game for around 2 years on and off, and it might be the last game I ever play. I don't know. I don't really know. The new content is cool. The new content is pretty cool. Mainly for me because it gives me more stuff to blow up. It gives me new things. I don't even know what they do. I just blow them up. I feel like a caveman who sees like an obelisk or something. I freak out, I find rock, and I smash it, and that's my thing. They don't make any noises, so they don't even get operational. The real great thing though, and I'm not sure if this is a result of the new content directly or indirectly, but there's so many new players. There's just so many new players. And it's awesome. It's freaking awesome. Okay. At first I used to hate it because it's like, well, these guys kind of suck. But then you have to remember, like, new players are the lifeblood of any game. It's not players, it's new players that are lifeblood of any game, all right? Players leave. Even if a player stays online, right? All he's doing is he's just accounting for himself. But new players in droves and bunches and waves, where are they all coming from? I don't know. Where are these people all hearing about the game from? I don't know, but it's great. Okay, you know a new player because they will be Lance Corporal or below. But like a really, really new player that's been in for like just a couple hours, first of all, they'll tell you. That's one of the first things they'll say if they talk. Okay, if they're a new player and they don't talk, I'm sorry, I can't help you. If you want to if you want to type in the chat, that's cool. I can help you out there. But if you're not going to communicate, I can't help you. But the new players that talk are great, and so they'll tell you. I've been running a couple training camps, and it's just they've been going remarkably well, remarkably well, right? And there's two different kinds of camps. Okay, there's intra-war camp, I would say, and then there's the active camp. Okay, so the intra-war camp, it's really easy to do, like in Resistance. Basically, what you do is you actually just make like a training camp on the base, like on the actual map somewhere. Okay, the one on the island, the home island, is okay. I got confused with it. It's okay, but I think it's better if there's a person there showing you what to do instead of just reading a sign. And you can do a lot of things, but the one thing, there's two things that all my trainees learn: crouch and time your shots, and then cook grenades. So I guess that's three. But every one of them leaves knowing that, because those are the things that I don't see new players doing. They fire as quickly as they can. They fire while standing, and they don't throw grenades. And so each of them now knows how to cook the grenade. If you don't know how to cook the grenade, you hold down right button, you hold down left button for a couple seconds, and then you let go of left button. One of my trainees said 4 seconds, and he threw it perfectly every time. I never tried it because if you cook the grenade too long, you blow your hand off. I could tell you the greatest feeling I think that I felt online in this game or on this line ever has been felt recently, and that is training someone to kill somebody and then watching them do it. It's fantastic. Okay, several times, like one time during training we were being attacked, and my little storm corporal, he went up, he crouched, and he blew both their brains out. And I was like trying to go flank, do some like maneuvering shit. No, he just walked up and shot them fucking dead. It was great. Yeah, so you can do that. And how I do that is I make a sign, I make a post, and every once in a while on the world chat, I'll say new players, meet me here at Brodytown. And that way, Brodytown, it's got supplies and it's got enough real estate where you can kind of mess around. And it doesn't. You don't have to worry about the tryhards coming up to shoot you. Man, I got a case of the ums. This is the first time for a while. My goodness, I thought I was past this. So the interwar camp is good for between wars because there's really nothing too pressing. But what you want to do during the actual war is make a camp close-ish to the front line, maybe like one or two lines behind. And you want this to be a safer space. And what you do with this is you actually take them on combat missions, but like controlled, like commando missions, shit like that. You want to try to make the scope of the battlefield so that you're still as much of the teacher as possible. But the second part, I'll admit, is a challenge to me because I haven't really had a whole lot of luck getting people in to join the camp. They basically have to come to you in both cases. I've realized that when I go to people and ask them if they want training, they're not interested in it. And so this brings kind of a conundrum, okay? And this is my new challenge, all right? There's a lot of new players. There's a lot of new players all the time. But where are the sergeants? Suddenly there are very few sergeants and staff sergeants. There's many, many, many lance corporal. But somebody said the other day, now cadet is a high rank. And yes, cadet is relatively a high rank. They basically know what they're doing. They could be in charge of one guy. Yeah, now cadet basically is a high rank. But what it's showing me is since there's so many lance corporals, it goes like, yeah, there's so many lance corporals and so few sergeants. I'm realizing very few of them are sticking around. Very few of them are sticking around, I think. Okay, they leave before they become a staff sergeant. So what I think is happening is nobody is training them. They are not asking for training. No one's training them, and all they're doing is just throwing themselves at the bridge battle. They see a glowing light on the spawn menu. They're like, okay, I'll go there, and they get thrown in a bridge battle, and they're like, oh, that's all this game is, the bridge battle. And it's kind of this paradox because players love to complain about. They love to complain about the bridge battle. It takes a. I mean, everyone agrees like, oh man, bridge battle. Like even some people would be like, hey, are there any fights going on that isn't a bridge battle? Like it's just been like, and I know why. It's because it can burn you out. Okay, it's the thing about the bridge battle is it's a stalemate that's kind of not a stalemate. Basically, it's a stalemate you can never win, but you can lose if you don't have enough guys there. That's basically what the bridge battle is. Because on either side of the bridge, there are indefatigable defenses. Okay, they are just there's an array of machine gun bunkers and you name it. Okay, so taking the bridge is kind of possible, but getting to the other side, that's another deal. That's another deal altogether, okay? Getting to the other side is very hard to do, but if you let the enemy amass a massive army, they could do it. If they just fight the defenses by themselves and no players, they can do it. And so it's the stalemate you can lose. And I understand why it could be seen as depressing, but here's the thing, is no two bridge battles are the same, all right? You can build scaffolding to get around the enemy and flank them. You can swim to a beach. You can use a boat to get around to go to a beach. You can use an armored truck to smash through the enemy blockade. You can use mortars to blow out the enemy side. Like because of the way the tech and the location and the new content and the different players, like every single bridge battle, even if it's the same place over the same bridge between two different wars, will play out completely differently. The layman won't notice that, though. The layman that just sits on the bridge won't notice that. And I mean, we have like a dozen guys sitting there, and there's room for like 4 or 5. So it becomes this kind of conundrum where they're not learning, they're not really playing the game. They're waiting for the game to happen, and they end up waiting so long that the game ends up becoming waiting. And this cycle, they get trained like robots. Like, okay, I'm going to spawn. I'm going to get those things I got last time. Okay, I'm going to go out there. I got shot. Am I going to bring less magazines even though I didn't use them all the last 5 times? No, they don't learn. It's so easy in this game to shut your brain off. It is so easy to just shut your brain off. And so that's kind of the conundrum here is me getting to those new players before they start their first death loop. And it's not even really on me, like it's not really even on me um like trying it like harder. It's me just trying at the right time. It seems like with all this training, it's just a lot of patience and the right time. But yeah, these players are awesome. I've shown them commando missions. I've shown them how to kill collies. I've watched them kill collies. I've shown them how to work radios. And that's the thing, right? Is you don't want them. You don't even after you're training them and you kind of become their leaders. You still want them thinking for themselves. So like this one guy, we were doing a wacky car adventure, and I had a radio, and he's like, "What's the radio do?" I'm like, "Oh, you can have mine." And he's like, "But you need the radio," because I was telling him how to do shit or like where to go, and I'm like, "Nope, now you have the radio. Now you look at the map. Now you figure it out." And he did it right there. And I haven't really lost. The funny thing is these new players are less annoying than the players that have been here for a while. I lose my cool with the players that have been here for a while because I end up like trusting them. But with the new players, I don't think they know anything, so I don't trust them with anything except for that thing that I told them just 1 second ago. That the last thing I told them 1 second, and that's really all you can really expect them to do. They're gonna struggle a lot with things like inventory management. That's something I don't even think about now. Just like switching to that menu hella quickly. That seems like a big holdup, and honestly, that's just muscle memory. That's all. That's all it is for me now. They just have to do it a lot. They'll be fine. And you'll see like in combat, like they'll just fuck up sometimes. Sometimes they do really good, but sometimes they'll just fuck up. Especially like I said with inventory management, switching between grenades and rifle. Like, oh, there's a collie, switch, shoot him. And I shouldn't have. Basically, what I'm trying to make them not do is just follow me to their doom, because I've seen plenty of times, plenty of squads of like 6 people. They're all following one person. They're all following one person, and that person gets shot and killed. And I mean, it doesn't really matter because they all pretty much get murdered within like 2 or 3 seconds. But even if they were to live somehow, they wouldn't have any direction, and they'd be like, "Oh, yep, I want to go back to the spot." And that see, that's another thing is I don't like squads of more than maybe 4. A squad of 3 is awesome. A squad of 4 is okay. A squad of 5, almost pushing it, just because like the way the spawn rhythm works. Okay. And so that's the thing with these new players is you always want to, when you're teaching them, you always want to be like showing them. You don't want any dead time. Okay. If they have to wait, they're basically playing a video game and waiting for the fun to begin. You just became the loading screen. Do not be the loading screen. Okay. What you want to do is you just always want to put yourself in a position so the next lesson can happen right away. So you want to be prepared for your lesson for sure. Like for example, I got a Highlander and a Spitfire, and we are going to drive it from Brody Town to the front line. And that was dumb because I should have just got 2 Spitfires. 2 Spitfires could have got us there quick and fast. But the Highlander took so long to get up there that they all just left. They got bored and left. They're like, oh man, I don't want to do this. Let's leave. So don't bore them, because you are basically like the greeter of this game. Okay, don't bore them. Honestly, to be quite honest, I wouldn't even bother showing them a bunch of Logi shit. To be quite honest, and here's why. Like, anyone can do Logi. That's why people do Logis. Anyone can do Logi. Anyone can do that. Anyone can drive a truck down a path. Anyone can access a menu. Anyone. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're strategic. All right. So the thing that I try to show my players, there's 2 kinds of game in this game. There's the strategic side and there's a tactical side. Okay. Logi players are all strategy. Frontline players are all tactics, and that's why they're so lopsided. Like when you talk to them, you're not even like talking to like a full person. Like the same with the tankers. Well, the tankers actually have a mix. But the bridge boys have 0 strategy. They don't even look at their map. They just know there's a bridge there. They'll go to the bridge as many times as they can, As long as there's a shirt there, they'll spawn. As long as there's a shirt and a gun, they'll spawn without bitching about it. But they'll never get in a Logi truck to fill themselves out. All right. I honestly think that Logi is more. I think the foot soldier of this game are the Logi drivers. We could play this game without infantry. We couldn't play this game without Logi. You could hella play this game without infantry. It would be easy. There'd be the easiest out of anything in this game to cut out. The Navy and the infantry would be the easiest, but the Navy doesn't really even exist. It's more like the Coast Guard. So you have to maintain the balance between strategy and tactics, or strategy and tactics. Okay, and that's just the hardest thing, because like I'm probably very strategic, but tactical wise, no, I get messed up. I get messed up pretty often. So you're gonna try to like either train one side of their brain or the other, but at the end of the day, like I know I'm saying Logi is more important, but you're playing this game to kill collies. Like if you're not killing collies, I don't know why you're playing this game. If you don't sign in and kill at least one collie, if you sign in for like 3 or 4 hours, you don't even kill one collie. And I am fairly certain that's most of the backline. That's the story of most of the backline is like, and here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, okay? Is when the collie shows up to kill you, you aren't even fresh. You aren't even like when a collie shows up to kill me, I'm delighted. I am so happy that they came from all the way across the map just for me to murder them. It's just a fucking treat. It's like, I don't know. I hear music when it happens. Okay. But for them, it's like, look, I mean, okay. For example, all right. This one guy, we were getting hit by an armored car, and one of our friendly players hit a mine. I put the mine there. They're like, don't put mines on the road. I'm like, well, no one's killing the armored car, so I hope it hits them. They're like, well, we hit the mine. And I'm thinking, like, how did you hit the mine? I asked him, like, how did you hit the mine? He's like, I didn't think there'd be a mine there. And that's the kind of complacency that'll get you killed. Okay, when you just switch off your brain for certain parts of the map, he told me, he's like, oh, I thought it would be safe. And I can understand what he's saying. I can get that. But at the same time, all right, I made a sign. I made a map post. You can see the mines. There's also a map post saying armored car. And he thought the area was safe. So don't let your guard down like that. Never just like think it's safe, I guess, like that. Always try to kill a collie. Every second you're in this game is to kill them, or it's the time in between it. But I am telling you this. If you want to kill the collies bad enough, you'll start seeing them. That you'll start noticing them a second before they notice you. If you want to kill them bad enough, if you hate them, if you turn this game into like a serial killer simulator, you can basically smell them. You can basically know when there's a collie around. You can do it with towers, and you can do it with collies. With the towers, it's like a sixth sense. It's like, fuck, there's something around. It's almost like those things from Condemned Criminal Origins, those like sonic devices. Like it's almost like you can hear them. They don't make any noise, but it's like a sixth sense. Like you just know you're getting close to one. Okay, same thing with collies. All right. If your awareness of this game is good enough, you just start knowing. You'll just start being able to tell. A radio helps too, though, for sure. Look at your map.